If you're seeing coldness, for instance, that coldness is usually a reaction to you being cold, or it's a reaction of you being too hot and she's trying to cool you down. Hey guys, Hector Castillo Poppy from girlschase.com. Today I want to talk to you about why your girlfriend doesn't tell you what's wrong with her or with the relationship. So girls, you ask them what's wrong and she says nothing, and then you ask 4 or 5 times, and then finally she tells you. Why didn't she just come to you and tell you what's wrong? Why do you have to mind read where you feel like you have to mind read? And why don't girls tell you what's going on before it starts to get bad? Because usually once you get to the point where you're talking about things, maybe it's already gotten bad, or at least worthy of an argument or a fight, unfortunately. So one way to see this is, well, first of all, it shouldn't get to that point, right? That you have to have a fight or an argument because you're paying close attention to her. So this is going to require that you see it as your responsibility to read your girlfriend and know your girlfriend. This might seem like more of a headache and more responsibility and more hassle, but if you, as I feel, that the man is the leader of the relationship, that comes with responsibility. There are benefits and there's responsibilities. If you want to be the leader, you have to earn it. And part of being a leader, not even just in a relationship, but a leader in anything, a business or, a group, is knowing the feelings of those you are leading. You're responsible for them, and so you have to know what they're feeling when maybe even they don't know or understand or can't express. And that is part of the problem as well. So once we take this responsibility that we have to take care of her, then we can go into how to do it, because we understand what are the reasons why that is stopping them from expressing themselves. Okay, so she is not telling you what's wrong for a few reasons. One, people hide their emotions. People are afraid to express themselves. I think this is pretty universal. It's easy when it's over the internet and it can be anonymous or you're just a text on a screen. But in social situations, people tend to be much more guarded. We would think that we're much more confident and outspoken than we actually are, but when you look in practice, people just tend to be quiet. People tend to just avoid things. We tend to avoid conflict. Some people are the exception, but for the most part, we tend to just, because we're risk averse. Secondly, she doesn't always know what is wrong. She just feels something is wrong, because if it has something to do with you, well, she has to be able to read your mind and has to know how you're feeling. And she's having just as much trouble reading you as you are reading her. Thirdly, she doesn't know how to express it or explain it. She can just feel it. Now, women are more emotional than men. I think we're both very emotional, but women have a emotional logic. And I don't think it's more wrong than what we would call the male logic, where we think more in concepts. They feel through to the truth, and we think to the truth. And I think in a lot of circumstances, feeling to the truth is actually much quicker and a lot of times more accurate. But the problem with this type of power is that it is not easy to trace. Logic we can write down on a piece of paper. How I feel is just kind of like, I just feel this way. And I have a few experiences that made me feel that way, but maybe I don't know exactly why they did it. And so she is lost in her own emotions. And so your job as the man is to bring that ability to write things down and organize them so that you guys work together, and then the masculine and the feminine form this like special energy where it's very clear but also very full with emotion. So she is lost in a sea of emotions. You draw the map. That's why, as I said before, it's your job as the man and as the leader to help guide her through her emotions. So you have to help her because she's lost, Now, how do you help understand what is going on with her? You have to look at her body language. You have to look at her tone of voice, how she is texting you, perhaps, how affectionate she's being, how receptive to your affection she's being. When you see the first signs that something is up, now you don't want to be the guy who's always like, hey, what's wrong? Hey, what's wrong? Hey, what's wrong? Then it gets a bit too much, and then you're being kind of insecure, and you're being, I know this is, it's like, well, if I don't feel you, then I'm insensitive, and then if I'm always asking how you feel, well, then I'm a fucking needy little bitch. Well, welcome to the complexity of psychology and sexuality and romance and relationships, okay? So you wouldn't always be asking, like, what's wrong, what's wrong? But if you see that it lasts, right, for a decent period of time, you know, a couple hours, or if it's intense and you just like, you feel something's up, but you can't explain it. What you can just say very casually, right? Hey, what's up? I talked about this in how to figure out if your girl's having a bad day video, and you can check that out in the description below. But this is more about when it's you, right? When there's a problem with you or the relationship. Something you said, something you did, something that you guys aren't feeling together. When you start to see consistently there's some sort of feeling, I want you to cut it off as soon as you get to it. Instead of waiting for her to eventually explode, because that's what's gonna happen, is that you don't know how to confront the issue and you don't want to, you don't care, you're tired, you're lazy, you know, you feel like this is just stupid that you have to always talk about feelings. Eventually it's gonna get so big that she's not gonna know how to express it, but she's just gonna express it, and it's just gonna go boom. And she's gonna start not making any sense, just start fucking saying shit and just getting angry and getting sad, you know, crying and just acting, you're gonna think she's acting hysterical. But what she's just doing is just, she didn't know how to express herself and you weren't there to help her express it. So see these signs and then ask, what's up? No matter what happens, if you have a feeling something's up, and unless you really have trouble reading emotions, it's gonna be pretty clear. When you see something is up, keep going, keep asking, what's up? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Eventually, she's gonna tell you. Now, when she starts telling you, what you have to be able to do is, first of all, you have to control yourself and not get upset. Because when she's having a bad day or it's something external to yourself, it's easy. You see it from a third person perspective. It's external, it's detached. But now it has to do with you. Okay, so you have to be really sure to be calm. And even if you feel like her accusations or her confusions are insulting towards you or a misunderstanding of you, you as the man, if you feel, well, women are emotional and men are logical, okay, well, here's time to fucking stand up and prove that, right? So be calm, listen to her, let those wave emotions just come over you, then start paying attention to what she's saying. Usually you're gonna hear things about a lack of time, a lack of affection. If it's anger, a lot of times it's actually a lack of sex, just as a quick little heads up. Or if it's like irritation at something you're doing, a habit of yours, a tick of yours, you know, kind of, you have certain tones, certain behaviors that irritate her. That's not sexual. if you try to fix that with your dick, that's not gonna work out too well. Okay. You wanna see where the emotion lies. Like if you're, you know, you're charting it, okay, is it anger? Is it annoyance and irritation? Is it sadness? Or is it cold? You have different little quadrants, and each problem, each emotion is going to have its own offshoots of like what exactly it means. And it's just the opposite. So if you're seeing coldness, for instance, that coldness is usually a reaction to you being cold, or it's a reaction of you being too hot and she's trying to cool you down. It's gonna be an extreme of one of them. And that's her reaction to it. And so she's being cold in one way because, let's say, we're hoping you're not needy and, you know, kind of a loser, that you're being too cold and now she's doing it as a reaction. You see, okay, I've been too cold, she's being cold as a response. Then what you do is you feed back that emotion and you say to her, you're feeling cold and I feel that you're being aloof and you're not really here. Why are you feeling that way? You work through it. Okay, I see coldness. I explain it to her. I see you're being cold. Why are you being this way? Well, I don't know. It just feels like And then she starts to get hot and passionate. So you're gonna see this boom, boom kind of emotions, this fluctuation. Then she's gonna start to let out, and that's gonna be the melting of the ice. It's gonna be the release of that emotion, but still it's gonna be emotional explanations. I feel like you've been doing this and you've been saying this. Then what you can do is you see what the problem is, and then you start to fix it by talking through her and then actually living up to those things, and you changing your behavior and her changing her behavior, because she probably isn't perfect and had something to do with it as well. Or let's say in a different situation, she is feeling very sad. Now she's feeling not just like ignored, but neglected. She feels like you just don't care about her anymore. You're not spending any time with her. You're not affectionate when you are with her. You're not being affectionate. So it's not real time spent together. That just pisses guys off. It's like, I spent all day with you, but you still want more. Well, it's because she didn't feel like you were really there, man. I know that sounds extremely like a woman thing to say, but once you get to know women, those things start making sense. You translate the womanese into mananese, okay? So she's feeling neglected again. So, and she's gonna be saying these things in different kinds of language. Like she's gonna say, you know, I don't know, I just wanna see you more, and I just feel like we don't spend any time together, and I just feel like, you know, we don't do anything fun anymore. We never go, you see, she's gonna start explaining her feelings and emotions, and you play that back to her and you say, oh, okay, so you feel like we don't spend any time together. Yeah, that's what I just said. But she's gonna appreciate the fact that you spit it back to her in her language. Then what you say is, okay, well, babe, I have been spending time with you, so why do you feel like we're not spending time together, right? There's your logic. There's your male logic. Like, okay, we spent 5 hours. Why is 5 hours not working? Then she's gonna say, well, I don't know. It doesn't feel the same anymore. It doesn't feel like it's like we're spending time. Okay, translate to mananese. What's wrong? Okay. Oh, okay. It must be that time together, because a lot of guys just lock into their head like, we spent time. I don't understand. What the fuck? No, she's explaining it to you. You just gotta be a little bit like creative here. Okay. She feels like the time we're spending together isn't real time spent together. Now, how is that alleviated? And then you figure out the ways to fix that. I'm sure you want the answers to everything right now, but it's a whole another video and we'll be here for a fucking hour, okay? So she's not gonna tell you what's wrong, because she's not gonna communicate directly, because that's just not how women work. They're gonna be expressing things to you expressively through emotions, through emotional language, statements of emotion. Like, this is the emotion that I feel. How you find out what is the actual cause of it is by going deeper and asking questions and then feeding it back to her in your male language. Then she's gonna be able to pick that up, because she's gonna know how she's gonna feel your emotion through the words that you're saying, and she'll be able to speak back with her womanese. So women don't tell you what's wrong because they're not direct, they think emotionally, and what you do is decipher that emotion by feeding back your male language and then having a conversation between the masculine and the feminine, and then go further because you're pushing it, because it's your responsibility as the man to lead the relationship, and then to go further into the problems and guide her through them and then find the solution. Okay, so that's why women don't tell you what's wrong. There you go. Cool. Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on Instagram. See you soon. Bye.